Welcome everyone to the next video on Algebra National 5 level, and this video will be looking at double brackets. Now when I talk about a double bracket, what I actually mean is a bracket that has placed together, so there's no add or subtract in the center of it, so it looks something like this. Now when we deal with brackets of this sort, with double brackets, we have to take each part from each bracket and multiply it by one from the other. So in this case, I've got x plus a and x plus b. So we're going to be multiplying the first terms. Then we're going to be multiplying the outside terms. The inside terms, so we're doing a times by x here. And finally, we'll be looking at the lasts. And if you ever have difficulty trying to remember how to do it or which ways to do which, you can always remember it's called the FOIL rule. So your firsts, your outers, your inners, and your lasts. Your first, outside, inside, and your last. So jumping into an example, let's say we have x plus 3 multiplied by x plus 4. Now take your time with this, because we have to take each bit with another bit. So the first bit is always going to be your firsts. So x times x, which gives us x squared. And then we've got x times by positive 4, which gives us positive 4x. And then 3 times x, which gives us 3x. And finally 3 times 4, which gives us 12. Now we're not done yet, because we can do a wee bit of tidying up. So there's nothing else with a squared term in it, so in this case the x squared can just stay the same. This 4x and this 3x, we can add them together, so positive 4x add 3x gives us 7x, and there's nothing to add to the 12, so we can just leave it as 12. So x plus 3 and x plus 4, when they're multiplied together, give us x squared plus 7x plus 12. Nearly forgot my plus sign there. Let's change it up a wee bit. What if we had a negative in the mix? Now the process is the same. We're still going to do our firsts, our outers, our inners, and our lasts. So we've got x times x, which gives us x squared. And we got x times by positive 2, which gives us positive 2x. Now we deal with our insides, so negative 5 times x, which gives us negative 5x, because a negative times by a positive gives us a negative. And our lasts, negative 5 times by positive 2 gives us negative 10. Once again, a negative times a positive gives us a negative answer. Tidying up, there's nothing with an x squared term, so we can just leave that as it is, because we can't add or subtract anything onto it. We have positive 2x subtract 5x, which gives us negative 3x, and negative 10's on its own, so nothing to add or subtract there. So x negative 5 times x plus 2 gives us an answer of x squared negative 3x negative 10. So once again, pushing the bar out a wee bit, what if we have two negatives? So following our rule, our FOIL rule for the firsts, x times x gives us x squared. Our outsides, so x times by negative 1 to give us negative x, or negative 1x. Our insides, negative 3 times x, which gives us negative 3x. And negative 3 times by negative 1 give us plus 3, because a negative times a negative gives us a positive answer. Tidying up, no other x squared terms. So negative 1x subtract negative 3, or subtract 3x, leaves us with negative 4x, and plus 3 on its own, there's nothing we can do with that. As our final answer. X negative 3 times x negative 1 gives us x squared negative 4x plus 3. And what about if we get something with a coefficient in front of one of our variables? Well, we just follow the same procedure. First, 2x times x is going to give us 2x squared. 2x times 3 is going to give us plus 6x, because 3 lots of 2 are 6, so 3 lots of 2x are 6x. Our insides, 1 times by x just gives us x, and 1 times by 3 gives us 3. So tidying that up. Nothing else with an x squared term, so 2x squared is just going to be the same. We have positive 6x, add an x, which gives us add 7x, and add 3 at the end because nothing's changed with that. So once again, we're going to push the boat out even further. I'm going to throw a negative into the mix with this. 3x plus 2 and 2x negative 4. Now this is going to be a bit of a tricky one, so we'll take our time with this. Our firsts, first of all, we've got 3x times 2x, so 3 times by 2 is going to give us 6, and x times by x gives us x squared. So we can only multiply the numbers together and the letters together, and we just stick them together. Next, we've got 3x times by negative 4. Now, 4 lots of 3 gives us 12. Negative 4 lots of 3 gives us negative 12. So negative 4 lots of 3x is going to give us negative 12x. We deal with our inside. 2 times 2 is 4, so 2 times 2x is 4x. And finally our last, 2 times by negative 4 gives us negative 8. Now we can tidy up once again, nothing else with an x squared, so that 6x squared stays the same. We've got negative 12x, add 4x, so that's going to leave us with negative 8x. Negative 12 add 4 gives us negative 8, so it's fair to say negative 12x add 4x is going to take us up to negative 8x. And on the end we've got negative 8. Now, with double brackets, there is a shorthand way we can write some double brackets. In this case, I've got x plus 4 squared. Now, when something is squared, it's just been multiplied by itself. So in this case, when we have x plus 4 squared, what that really means is x plus 4 times x plus 4. So, same thing, just multiplied by itself. And we follow the same process. Our firsts, x times x gives us x squared. Our outsides, so x times by 4 gives us plus 4x. Our insides, 4 times x gives us plus 4x. And 4 times 4 gives us plus 16. Tidying up, no other x squared terms. 4x, add 4x gives us 8x. And 16 on the end is all by itself. Now one last one I'd like us to look at before the end of the video is this one with a coefficient, a negative and a square. So when we multiply this out, what it really means, remember, is all this times by itself in brackets. So we have 2x minus 1 multiplied by 2x minus 1. Our first 2x times 2x, well, 2 times 2 gives us 4. And x times x gives us x squared. Then our outside, so 2x times by negative 1 gives us negative 2x. Our insides, we've got negative 1 times 2x So that gives us another negative 2x, because negative and a positive make a negative answer. And our outsides, we have negative 1 times negative 1, which gives us plus 1. And tidying up, no other x squared terms, so 4x squared stays the same. Negative 2, subtract negative 2, gives us negative 4x, and add 1 on the end. So things to remember are FOIL rules. So we deal with our firsts first of all, so the first one's in the brackets, then our outsides, so the ones that are on the outer sides of the brackets, then your inside, so the two that are on the inside, and the lasts that are in the brackets. Be careful when it comes to negatives and positives, and negatives and negatives. Also be careful when we have a coefficient or a number in front of our variables, because they count too. In this example, when we had 3x times 2x, it gave us 6x squared. 3 times 2 is 6, x times x is x squared. You need to also be careful when adding and subtracting with negatives. So here we're starting at negative 12x and we added 4. Be careful you don't go down to negative 16. And finally, with the squared, if anything is squared, it's just multiplied by itself.